That is the sound of the jar of names. We shall get one of them out of the pot right now. We have one. We have. Ready. This video is for everyone, including but not excluded to Spudley Dudley 85. Right, so welcome to another podcast. This is a cup of tea and a podcast. Here is the cup of tea. And this is the podcast. Right then. So, hello to all. If you want to skip ahead in this episode, you can go down to my first comment, which has the skip list. It might not be there because I'm a little bit behind on updating things, but you can go to this week's update, this week's topic, this week's TV time, this week's question, and this week's goals. So let us begin with update. So what is going on this week in relation to the channel? Not an awful lot. It's been a bit of a slow week again. I'm still behind. Well, not behind, but I haven't got that oomph that I had a few weeks ago where I was like getting stuff done left and right, and I was like, it was amazing. So I haven't got that yet. That's gone. I'm trying to get that back still. But something is going to happen this week, which is important to let you know. This Sunday is going to be the last ever recording of Harvest Moon Back to Nature, which means next week is going to be the last ever week of Harvest Moon Back to Nature, and I am excited. I have ordered the next Let's Play. I have the next Let's Play ready. I've played it today to see what it is like, because it is a remake of the original, so I played it today just to see how well it fares to the original. It's a little bit choppy, a little bit frame ratey at first, but I think maybe it should be okay, so we'll play it, we'll see how it is. I played it a bit and I love this game, great game, reference it all the time, but we'll see what that is. It'll be next week, next Friday, so I'll put up a next Let's Play video. One person knows what it is already, but he wishes it was Azura's Wrath, which I'll look at in the future. Well, I've got a theory about when I can do that one that you want me to do, but I'll have a look and get back to you on that one. Right then, let's go on to topic. So this week's gone to names. So what have we got coming up this week? We have a few videos. We have today, which is the podcast Mondays, what you're listening to right now. Later today, we have Harvest Moon Back to Nature. It's called I'm Coming In, because we go around looking at places. You can probably guess which one we look at today. Tuesday, tomorrow, we have Assassin's Creed Revelations. It's called I Predict a Riot. Predict a riot, based on the song, because something happens. Wednesday, we have Harvest Moon Back to Nature. This title is inspired by something Horia has said before. It's called Merry Star Night, because we celebrate a festival. Thursday, Assassin's Creed Revelations is back, and this one is called Tulips and Lips, because I don't know why. It's because of something I collect, something I am rewarded with, I suspect. Friday, we have Harvest Moon Back to Nature. It's called Cry If You Want To, based on a song by Melanie Martinez about a party. So you can probably guess what is happening on that episode. And then Saturday, we have a pointing episode of Assassin's Creed Revelations called Arsenal Pointing, one of the last proper episodes of pointing, because we've got all the collectibles. No, there's one more coming, actually. I forgot. There's one more coming. But yes, that is that for this week. Obviously, I didn't say the update as well, but last week the pointing episode was a little bit late because, again, slow week. I'm not doing very well. I'm plagued by a demon, and his name is Lazy. Right. Let's go on now to the next one, which is TV time. What programmes have I seen this week? What can we talk about? Actually, nothing. I've not watched any TV shows this week. I've literally been watching films non-stop for like the last week or two. It's crazy. I must have watched about 32 films in the last 2 weeks, and it's crazy. I'll run through a few. You'll probably be able to see the trend if I now run through a few. One of those was Love Actually. Notting Hill was another one. Sunshine on a Leaf. That's it's a musical based on the Proclaimers. You know, like I would walk 500 miles. It was okay. It wasn't good. It wasn't bad. It was meh. It was okay. I also seen something called Letters to Juliet, which I like that film. I'm a sucker. Like I said, I'm a sucker for a love story. So you can probably tell what I've been watching this week. 500 Days of Summer. I've seen that for the first time as well. My Big Fat Greek Wedding. I watched the first one and the second one again. That was quite funny. It's actually quite funny because I don't know if Nick Pro's watching this, but I know he is from Greek. And there was a scene in one of them films where I'm actually glad I looked at my book now because I was going to mention this, but I forgot about it. Yeah, there's a scene there where he's playing, this is my brother Nick, his cousin Nick, he's Nick. And it's like basically it was like this stereotype that all Greek people are called Nick, and I watching it thinking it's quite funny because I know a Greek person called Nick. I combined Nick and Greek. Nick. Yeah, I thought it was quite funny because I know a Greek person named Nick, and that was you, Nick Pro. Right, let's go on now to something else, which we're going to go on to Well, actually, first, before we go on, talk about movies still. I think I've actually found my favourite film. I think I might actually have one, which is unusual because I've never had one before. Now I do. Right, yeah. Moving on to the community section, let's go on to Mention Monday. This week's commenters that we have on this week's videos that have been released this week, not just within the last week, this week's videos. So some people have commented but are on older videos, so they don't count. Anyway, we have Mr. Big White 661199, Horia, 40k Warrior Man, Nick Pro, Dragonlord 55511, and Yorkshire Myers. Yeah, thank you all for commenting this week. Look forward to seeing you next week if any of you return. And it's nice to see some new faces like Yorkshire Myers. Cool. Right, what is after that? Is it Q&A? Is Q&A? We've got a big Q&A this week. We've got 4 questions from 2 different people. Right, we have my Lord of Dragons, Dragonlord 55511, who says, "Hello, JD. I have noticed." Oh, maybe I did my mistake actually. Oh no, this one isn't. Yeah, never mind. That's not a question. I'm so used to, for Dragonlord posting a question, I just automatically put it in. It wasn't even a question. Anyway, yeah, okay. So first one is from Horia, who says, "Hey JD, if you were in the Avatar world, the last airbender, not the Blue Man Group Planet one, what type of bender would you be?" My guess, his guess is he thinks I would be a water bender since the whole tea thing. Personally, he would like to be fire or earth bender since that would be cool variations. Yes, you're actually wrong. This is a great question. I absolutely love it, and you'll see how much I love it later on in this episode. But this is a great question. I absolutely love it, and I would not be a water bender. By the way, a bender is you have the 4 main elements: the fire, earth, water, and fire. Fire, water, earth, air. That's it. Yeah, and a bender is one person that can control one of those elements. If you don't know the story of Avatar: The Last Airbender, and then every generation there is someone called the Avatar who can control all 4, and he's the only person that can control all 4. And yeah, it's just basically the whole sort of lore behind it as well. Like you can have like a specialized, I forget what they call it, but it's a specialized bending, where if you're an earth bender, you can become a lava bender or a metal bender. Or if you're a firebender, you can bend electricity as well. And it's like, it stems from there, but yeah, it's quite cool. And I love this question. But I would not be a waterbender. I would be an earthbender. Because it's not about what I like, it's about the fighting style and the fighting stance and like the way it works. Like, I feel like if I was a bender, I would be fighting with like, strength, like, like, it's hard to describe. It's better to show you, and I can't show you, but like, say if you're punching, you're supposed to twist it at the end, like push forward with all your force. And it sort of like snaps, like, that's that strength and stuff like that. And that's how I saw the sort of martial arts I like Shotokan. Like, I don't like Aikido because that is more flowing, like water, I suppose. What I like more Shotokan, which is more like, structured sort of, bang, 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 bang. And that's what I prefer. So I think that's why I prefer to be like an earthbender. And that's always stuck with me. Like, I think I played a game called White Knight Chronicles, and in that game I specifically made my character to follow like the earth magics that you can do, because you get to choose, and I just did that because I wanted to do it like that because I was so hyped up on Avatar. And yeah, that's what I would do. Plus, I like you said, like the metal bender's quite cool, especially in this modern times. Plus, lava bender is just amazing. So yeah, I would be an earthbender because it's great. Right, and then Horia this week says, "I have a riddle for you this week. A dad and his son were riding their bikes and crashed. 2 ambulances came and took them to different hospitals. The man's son was in the operating room, and the doctor said, 'I can't operate on you. You are my son.' How is this possible?" Right. I've already looked at this, so I know the answer because I've looked at it before. Like, I haven't just quickly come up with this on the top of my head. I've read it when I was putting it in. The answer is, the doctor is his mother. Yes. I think that's right. Right, and then now we do have a question from Dragonlord 55511, who says, "Hello, Sir JD262. I have a question and a riddle for you. Question: What was the worst film based on a video game that you have ever seen?" It's the Super Mario Brothers film they did, where it was just terrible. Like, the stereotypical worst film ever made from video game stuff. I was trying to think of a different one as well. I can't really think of many. Ratchet & Clank was not the greatest. Like, it's not bad. It's okay. Assassin's Creed looks quite good. Oh, that looks quite good. Oh, it does. A few things I'm not happy with, but it looks quite good. But yeah, I'm not sure what that other one. I think I'm going to have to go with that Super Mario one. And the riddle is, skinny, I am fast. Fat, I am slow. but I still delight you from your eyes to your nose. Hint, it is the object you light up with fire to brighten churches or homes when it is dark. Sometimes it is pleasant smells. Sometimes it has bright colours. If you leave it unattended, it will burn your house down. It's a candle! It's a candle. A glass candle? Perhaps not. Right then, that's all that question's done. I told you it was a lot. Now we go on to subscribers. This week we've gone up 10 subscribers. We've gone 1,151 to 1,161. 10 subscribers. That's crazy. But we have 5 names. We have Digital Distinction, Kemi Nordern, Mandy Han, Yorkshire Myers, and Jake Norton. So thank you all for subscribing and welcome to the community. If you know what type of avatar bender you would be, let me know with a comment and send it to me. Right then, let's go on to this week's question. Well, sort of last week's question. Yeah, last week's question was what sad movie endings do you know? We have quite a few responses. We have Mr. Big White 661199 who said they don't know what the saddest ending of a film would be because his memory is not the best. I paraphrased. Horia also says he does not remember any tearjerker movies. He doesn't watch many tearjerker movies, so he can't really remember any sad endings. 40k Roy Man says I don't think I would be described as sad, but I generally find films saddening. American Beauty ending. American Beauty ending. He said it's quite sad because it was bittersweet, a bit like Lord of the Rings. Bittersweet ending. Apparently, Game of Thrones is going to have a bittersweet ending as well. And then finally, Nick Pro says he does not watch many movies, but he, like I said last week, Titanic is definitely one of them. And he also says that Star Wars Episode 7 was quite sad towards the end, but that was not really the ending, so he said it doesn't count. Yes, that was it then. Right, this week's question is thanks to Horia, actually, because it was such a good question. I want to use it as the question for this week. What type of Avatar Last Airbender bender would you be? Would you be fire, water, earth, or wind? I'll quickly go through... No, I won't do that. This video is already too long. But yeah, which one would you be? Because I think that's a great question. I love it. Like, I think it's maybe because I have an answer that I properly thought about before. I think it's just a great question, so I'm going to go with that. Thanks, Harry, for that question. That is the question for this week as well. Let me know what you would be, because, you know, it's so cool. Just like, it's so great. So good. So good. So good. Right then. Ask a question. What's the question? Oh, it's this week's comment. It was quite tough this week. It was between two. One. Ugh. Oh dear. One, I can't actually remember what the other one was. No, I can't remember what the other one was. But the winner this week is Horia, because basically he was getting all very statistics related and very analytical of my farming. And he's basically saying, like, oh, if I move this plot, put one there, I can jump over and still get all the plants. And he was basically just saying I could maximise my profits and have 90% more usable growing space in the Harvest Moon greenhouse. And it was just the way he was using like percentages, and he was like actually proper trying to sell it. It was like, yeah, that's quite cool. I like that. That's helpful. When we do the next Harvest Moon game, which should be a while away, do the same, because that's very helpful. Because this way it doesn't really matter at the moment, because like I said, I've got 3 episodes left to record, and half of those I won't be bothering about farming. I'm going to be saying goodbye to people because we're nearly finished. Anyway, let's go on to this week's goals now then. So like I said, last week it was a slow week and still plagued by the demon known as lazy. What were last week's goals? They were not some good ones. They were to do some details. I've done some details. I haven't finished the details, but I'm getting there. Dark Cloud is the main one. I'm trying to focus on getting details done, because obviously it was a while ago that I needed to catch up with them, but I'm getting there. I also wanted to record 2 couple of adventure videos. That did not happen, sadly, and I've not even edited one either, so that's sad. But this week's goal is to get back to that good place where I was getting stuff done. I feel like at the moment I could get there. I feel like I just need a push just to get there. So that's the goal for this week, so hopefully we'll let you know next week what happens. We've got half term coming up as well. But that is that. Also, I want to try to do some details as well if I can, because they need to get sorted out. Right then, and that is it. So I'll finish this podcast with finishing this cup of tea. It was easy. Right. But yeah, so until the next time we meet, I'll say farewell, and I'll leave you with what film, and this is actually from my favourite film, so if you can get this, bonus points to you. So, what film? Be without fear in the face of your enemies. Be brave and bright, that God may love thee. Speak the truth always, even if it leads to your death. Safeguard the helpless, and do no wrong. That is your oath. And that is so you remember it. Arise a knight, and Baron of Ibelin.